Deep within a bleak and dismal era, hidden within the murky internet, lies the headquarters of the most sinister geeks of all time. A Legion on Zoom.
And what's up, everybody, and welcome to the DC Fandome 2020 edition episode of the Legion on Zoom. And as always, and as usual, I'm Ches.
Yo, what's up, everybody? And I'm Miguel, and I am incredibly excited about today's fucking episode.
And I know you guys can't see me right now, but today I'm Bat Rod, and I've been fanboy gasming or all day.
All day. Today has been an exhausting day. Today has been the DC Fandome experience, which started, so we're in New York. It started at 1 p.m. for us, and it ended about 40 minutes ago. So 9 p.m. Legit all day, all goddamn day, and nothing but epic stuff.
I couldn't walk away. Like I stepped outside for a second. I had my cell phone with my ear pods. If I had to go eat something, I took my laptop to the kitchen. It's just been all amazing content, especially if you're a hardcore, die-hard DC fan.
Yeah, man, like, I haven't felt this tired since I attended my first rock festival. Like, good Lord, man. Like, throughout the day, I had to try, like, and find spaces to, like, eat and shower. And I think at one point, Miguel even said that, like, he had to take a power nap real quick. Like, it was intense, man. Like, it was draining. It was to the point that I almost felt like they were being, like, inconsiderate of the fans. But then I remember, like, wait, if this was an actual convention, this is how it would be. So it's kind of like it was almost bittersweet until I understood the experience, and I was like, okay, this is awesome.
Yo, that is true, exactly, because it would feel like a legit it felt like a legit Comic-Con, where the only thing that was different, I guess, was like, because like at Comic-Con, I think we have to make those tough choices where we're like, do we really want to do that panel? Fuck, I'm hungry, I'm starving, I gotta go to the bathroom. You know what? Fuck it, let's not go to that panel. But for this one, it felt weirder to do that. It felt like no, and especially because like how Rod said, right? Because you can have it on your phone, you can have it on your laptop, you can take it with you everywhere. So it's like you feel like it'd be unfair to not be watching it. Like even as you're taking a shit, just bring it on your phone and just keep watching.
That's right. I mean, it would have been cool if they would have put breaks in, but there really was no time. They had legitimate 8 hours plus of content to show us.
Oh,
very well
God,
organized,
yeah.
Very well executed. This has to become a yearly thing. And I think other, big companies, take notes.
Oh, take notes.
I just want to piggyback off of what Miguel said, and at one point when I actually had time to go take a shit during this content fest, I actually took a notepad with me so I can make shorthand notes for this episode because there was so much content. It was insane. The one thing, however, like that almost kind of got to me, it was like I felt like the whole come and sign up and put in your email and make your schedule. It was like super, I think the correct word would be arbitrary, because like it felt unnecessary, right? Like
A waste of time, yeah.
Yeah. Like it was a waste of time. Like the way I wrote it in our thread was I felt like I didn't have ownership of my experience. It would have been nice if, like, on the schedule, I could have hit enter, you know what I mean? Like, enter event. But it was like, no, you sign up. But then it was like, I never got to log in again. It was more of just like, just go to dcfandome.com/live, and then you just hop into whatever's going on.
Yep, and I think that was due in part to them splitting it into 2 days. So before it was going to be like a multimedia one-day event, but they decided intelligently to show all their show and film footage today, because that's what people really, really want to see, and then save all the fanfare stuff, all the interactive, multimedia stuff for another day. And I believe that's in September at some point.
Oh, really? It's not tomorrow? Oh, okay. I have no idea.
I think they pushed it to September, but we will double check for you fans.
Yeah, regardless, it could be, if we didn't have a second day, like I'd be fine. Just with everything we were given today is is more than enough. And so like today, I think, so for all you listeners, we're hoping, you know, you all probably signed up, watched it as well, or watch whatever you could watch. If not, we want to describe basically what the experience was to watch Fandome. We're gonna hit basically all the key panels, the big, obviously, panels. We're gonna discuss them, and then just go throughout the day, basically how it went. Skipping over through things that were probably not as cool, but like honestly, even the panels we were mentioning earlier, even some panels that were a little throwaway, weren't even like terrible, you know, like they weren't like bad. It just wasn't great in comparison to everything else, you know, but it was overall well done, DC.
You guys know that feeling that you get after you finish crying for like a long time? Like that your eyes are like exhausted? That's how my eyes feel.
And the relief, like, I mean, like the release of emotion, like, wow. It was an emotional convention experience. Let's start off with Wonder Woman 1984, gentlemen.
Ooh. All right, so I guess that's just to start though. I guess just for one key thing that I liked about it, I did really like the setup. You know, like the whole thing, the Fandome location, right? Which like Jim Lee designed
facts.
the whole thing, and then you're like in the Hall of Heroes, which is based off of the Justice League's Watchtower, right? Like all of that was just fucking dope, and then going into all these different rooms to then check out these panels was actually really fucking dope, right? And then exactly like Rod said, the first one was Wonder Woman, 1984.
Yeah, in my opinion, just to go off of what Miguel just said, I think a lot of the aesthetic for the Fandome, it was inspired by those of you who have played it, DC Universe Online. When you get invited to their Watchtower, the whole Fandome aesthetic, like it kind of reminded me of that game. Those of you who know, if you want to look it up or whatever, it'd be pretty interesting. But yeah, that Wonder Woman panel, aesthetically, it was amazing. I loved the background. Overall, I thought the panel sucked. That's just me. The absolute highlight, of course, was the appearance by the OG Amazon herself, Miss Linda Carter. That was shocking. I did not expect that. But aside from that, I thought the panel was trash.
Okay, well, all right. Harsh words to start, and we started just like highlighting how great the thing was, and then like, oh, it was great. All right, first panel trash. Like, okay, Jesus Christ. No, but one thing, I'm glad you mentioned the Linda Carter piece, because I do think this is something I love this, because you're right. It's called the DC Fandome, right? And it really wasn't just for the namesake, you know. I love for every panel, everything they had fan questions, basically fan, you know, asking, you know, comments to everybody who was there. And I love that. I love that every fucking panel had that kind of section. And it was cool because then you could have surprises, like for the Wonder Woman one, right? Which one of the fans that had the question was the OG Linda Carter, right? The OG Wonder Woman. That was beautiful to see.
And it's another benefit of the whole virtual convention thing, because yeah, COVID sucks balls. But then, you know, the only person we didn't get, surprisingly, was Jason Momoa. So that was weird. But anyway,
yeah.
Everybody just, you know, pre-recorded and just whatever zoomed in. So, you know, unlike a real Comic-Con where certain people can't make it or it's not fitting into certain people's schedules, we got pretty much everybody. All the stars showed up.
Yeah. No, I agree. All right, but going back into the panel for the Wonder, I didn't think it was trash. I didn't think it was as, I thought it was a little bit of a weak start. I do think it wasn't, the discussion wasn't super exciting, I felt, but I think eventually it was all worth it for the trailer. The new trailer that they showed, I loved it. I thought it looked dope, and they gave us more shots of Wonder Woman doing her badass thing. And finally, you know, we saw, you know, Kristen Wiig as like in full like look, you know, for the villain, which is Cheetah, right? Chitara, or what's her name?
Yes. And a little shout out to Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman Rebirth Volume 1, where there's a scene where when Diana sees, you know, what Cheetah has become and completely mutated into like this, you know, beastly form, she's disappointed. And I like that little nod in the trailer when she sees that. And you know, so shout out to Greg Rucka.
Also, on a side note, Chitara is the character from Thundercats.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
Cheetah.
right.
It's just Cheetah.
Tomato.
So yeah, I dug the trailer. We literally see Wonder Woman riding the lightning in this. We get a
So
better
cool.
glimpse at Max Lord and whatever
Yes.
he's planning and shit. So I'm stoked about this movie. I think it's complete. We just can't see it yet, but
Word.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, man, that trailer was amazing. Even though, to quote Miguel from a past episode, I thought the panel was complete trash.
Bear in mind,
um,
these panels are very short too. So even if it's trash, it's only like what 10 minutes or something.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
The longest ones are like 20, I think. The longest ones are 20.
But the trailer was definitely worth the wait. It was so amazing. I cannot wait to see that movie. The graphics when you see Cheetah are amazing. Wonder Woman's armor, like her battle armor, is sick. I cannot wait for this movie. And as usual, Chris Pine is extremely handsome.
Oh,
Mhm.
he is a very good look. But both him and Gal Gadot are beauty themselves in persona.
Mhm.
But I was gonna my comment with that exactly I loved about seeing the special effects because also honestly up until now I was a little bit hesitant about Kristen Wiig as a villain. Like I love her as an actress. I think she's fucking funny. She's hilarious. She's a great comedian. But I was like as the villain, right? Like the fight and. But I loved in the trailer they're showing her the different styles and at the end like with all the CGI playing Cheetah. It looked dope. Actually, it looked pretty cool. I was like, all right, I'm excited about that. And also, like with Wonder Woman's armor, almost that's kind of I don't know Wonder Woman. I haven't really read her books that well, so I don't know if that's actually referenced in the story. Because I'm like, but that looked mad, like Saint Seiya. For all you guys know.
Totally.
Yeah, I was like, what is that?
Do you mean Saint Seiya from the Zodiac Knights anime?
Yeah, Caballeros del Zodiaco.
Ooh, I haven't heard that title in so long. Holy crap.
Yeah, like one of the
Deep
golden
cut.
armors. Yeah.
Deep cut, man. Holy crap. It's been a long time since I heard that. But yeah, that was so surprising. I'm shocked at how good the trailer actually was. And I honestly did not know that Maxwell Lord was Pasquale, mind you, which I could have read this somewhere, but I hadn't. Until I saw the panel. I was like, what? That's the same dude. That's the Red Viper from Game of Thrones. That's the Mandalorian. Spoiler alert, it's him if you haven't seen it by now. Yeah, that's wild. Like that dude, I'm becoming a big fan of Pasquale. I forgot what his last name is, but yeah, becoming a big fan, and I'll become a bigger fan when I learn his last name.
Yeah. No, exactly. I'm excited. I love him. Exactly. All the roles that you mentioned, as I'm excited to see him play Maxwell Lord, badass villain primarily. In the DC books.
I mean, the one thing that would be interesting, and I think we've speculated about this before, but I don't think they're gonna go the route from that infamous comic book panel that we all know. With I'm not gonna give away the spoilers, but
Do it.
with
Do it.
well,
That's a Pedro Pascal for those
there you go. Yeah,
curious.
Pedro Pascual. So I didn't know his first name. There you go. That makes it even worse. Moving forward, so there's an infamous panel, and I forgot. I believe it wasn't it like the Brother Eye comic book? I think like the miniseries or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was. I think it was one of like the Omega or something like that.
Yeah. OMAG, Project OMAG,
Yes,
Project or
yes.
something like that. Yeah, where Miss Diana Prince, also known as Wonder Woman, makes his head do a 360. Well, actually, a 180. Never mind.
180.
Yeah, 180. Yeah, she snaps his neck completely.
A 360 would probably kill him anyway, though. It's not like it would still like. It's not like, oh, you're back, you're fixed. Yeah, exactly. But because in that storyline, because like Maxwell Lord, for those of you who might not know, he has incredible mind control abilities, and he's controlling Superman, and has unleashed pretty much Superman against her and beating her ass. Although Wonder Woman's fucking not beating her ass. Actually, Wonder Woman is fucking holding her own against Superman, and it's just and Maxwell Lord is just like going all over the place, and she basically he pushes her to be like the only way to stop me is you gotta kill me, and she does it.
Yep, using the lasso of truth. And for the curious fans, that graphic novel is called Superman Sacrifice. That was in the build up to Infinite Crisis.
Oh right.
Way back when.
Yes.
And to be perfectly honest, I'll put that comic panel up there with when like Bane broke Batman's back. Yeah, that's how important of a panel that is, in my opinion.
Classic. And I'm glad you mentioned Batman now, right? Because all right, so that Wonder Woman, all right, good way to get us started. And then it moved into the first video game trailer. We got the Gotham Knights trailer, right?
Fuck.
Oh, like
Bird.
we had no idea. Like I had no idea going into like what the hell is this about? And the trailer starts showing us that Bruce Wayne is dead, right? Left this message to his freaking Bat family, and then you just see this epicness of you get to play as Batgirl, Robin, Nightwing, and Red Hood. Oh my god.
Yeah, man, there's a lot going on. It was like I was shocked. The graphics look amazing. The mechanics look sick. It looks like as I was watching all this gameplay being done, I'm like, this is so many hours of my life going down the drain. Like I can hear the sound effect of a toilet flushing, and those are the hours of my life that are gonna be gone. Me playing this game, and I can't wait.
All the things that were shown at this convention, I think this is in my top 3. This game looks awesome. I think there's up to 4-player co-op using, the guys and gals that Miguel just mentioned. It's a sequel. It's like a soft sequel to the Arkham series, and more on that later. We're actually getting another Rocksteady game that revolves around the DC universe. But I just think that's going to be a great kind of pick up, beat 'em up game. That's going to expand the Arkham lore. My guy Nightwing is in it. It just looks fucking dope.
Yo, and that gameplay looks epic because I loved about what this panel was like. Besides, they didn't just show you the trailer for the game. They also were like, all right, we got a few minutes of gameplay so you can see what it would actually look like, and it looks fucking great. And exactly, and that idea that you can do the co-op, and play with as any one of these characters with your friends. Jesus Christ, it looks so.
We will definitely be getting that, playing it, and reviewing the fuck out of it for you guys.
Hell yes. And I disagree with Ches about it's nothing going down the toilet, man. This is nothing but improving your life, dude. This is gonna be gold. It's gonna give more to your life. It's probably gonna add years to your life. How the beauty of this game.
You know what? And you're probably absolutely right. You're probably absolutely right. I cannot wait to dig into all the different types of gameplay because, as you all know, every single member of the Bat family has like their own unique style. You know what I mean? You have Barbara Gordon, you have Damian Wayne, you have Tim Drake, you have Jason Todd. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be like bow staff, swords. I don't think I saw Damian Wayne in the game. I'm not sure, but we did have a Nightwing, so you're gonna have like eskrima sticks and bow staffs and gunplay, and you know what I mean, like into straight martial arts. And it's gonna be just like so many different kinds of gameplay. I can't wait to just dig into the menus and see all the customization that you can do.
Yeah, no, and we were talking about this earlier because also for the fans, because as we're watching this, we're also on our group chat messaging each other as it's happening, live commentary and a lot of things. Obviously, we're just repeating the comments now here. And one of the things that we were mentioning is what we couldn't tell from the trailer and from the gameplay, which Robin is it, right? Because from the trailer and from like the art that they showed, it looks like Damian Wayne. But then later on in the gameplay, the Robin that was with Batgirl looked like Red Robin, which would be Tim Drake. And then also something I think I noticed too. I think like their costumes do change actually, because I think Batwoman and Batgirl at the beginning had like the whatever like little mask over her eyes like Robin and Nightwing, and then in the gameplay one had like the full on Bat mask. And so I think I could be wrong. I don't know, but I'm like, there's so much going on, and I'm like, I'm just happy to go dive into it, regardless of which Robin it is. I don't care. It's just gonna be dope.
And you guys can expect that at some point in 2021.
Yes, fun will be had and time will be wasted.
Yes, and that's so it I think at least with today's DC fandom made me feel like, all right, 2020's been a piece of shit, but you know what? I got a lot to fucking look forward to, and it feels like it's all gonna be made up. Like we're gonna make up for all the crappiness of 2020.
Fuck yes.
And hey, to be perfectly honest, I think that DC in a way, I applaud them for pulling this out of their collective asses, because for a while it looked like they were just lost at sea, like in the midst of just greediness, what seemed like corruption. You know what I mean? Like with apparently what was
Hit jobs.
yeah hit jobs, executives who thought that they were beyond reproach in a manner of speaking, like just with all the decisions they were making, and then to come out and pull together DC Fandome, I dare say it'll start it with the Snyder Cut.
That's a good point. And I wonder. I do. Obviously, I'm a Marvel fan more. To the end. But I do hope that Kevin Feige, wherever he was watching this, I hope he got fucking scared. It felt like, fuck, we gotta really step it up, because DC is legit stepping it up.
Word, in a big way. Like, it was so well done that it's kind of like, were they planning this before COVID? Because like it didn't seem okay. Try to understand where I'm going with this. So they had years to plan out their movie universe, and apparently it looked like they really fucked it up. They had a few months to pull Fandom together, and it seems like they've been working on this for like the past decade. What?
Yeah, and a central theme to this whole Fandom experience was the multiverse, which is one thing DC is really popular for. And that theme was heavy in this Fandom.
Yeah, and I feel it's because I think that's what did it, because I feel like they've been struggling, right? I think for the first films, we can debate the Snyder Cut, some more, but like they've been struggling, right? And I think I think they felt the pressure of like looking at MCU. Why can't we do what they're doing, right? And I think a lot of it's coming from the producers, the executive people who are not in comics, kind of like probably just thinking, no, this is what we should do. But I think eventually, like I think Jim Lee, was in that panel about the multiverse. I think once they probably just told them, like, look, we have this in the comic books, the multiverse. We really nobody else has done that like the way we do. It can actually really connect everything we've been fucking doing and explain any of the messiness and just fucking say like, don't worry about that movie. Let's do this movie instead. And then that just did it, and I think that just rejuvenated the DC group about like, fuck, like, all right, now we can do all the shit we want without really worrying too much.
Yep, and that transitions us perfectly to the central theme of the multiversal story, the lightning rod of the whole multiversal story. The character that you might see him on the Justice League amongst like Superman. Now, Superman is fast too. Then what makes the Flash so special? Well, the Flash has the power to traverse the multiverse, right? Like he can alter time and space on a quantum level. And we got a really dope panel with Ezra Miller and the director of the Flash movie. What do you guys think?
The one thing I'm extremely glad about, and I think the creative forces on the Flash movie must have been reading a lot of comments, was because one of the prominent things he spoke about was the new suit, which I must say, I love it. I love the new upcoming suit. It's so different from the one in the CW. It's so different from the one in Injustice, even though there is one skin in Injustice, I think that shares a slight similarity, but I really love the new suit that he's going to have.
Yes, no, I agree. Like the panel was good. It was fun. Obviously, it sucked that they really haven't filmed anything yet, right? So it's like they got really nothing to show, but they did kind of start alluding to the idea what the movie's about, addressing Flashpoint, addressing the multiverse aspect to it. And obviously it was like a little bit like, are you teasing me right now? Because as they were talking about the multiverse, they're showing us scenes of like Constantine, Watchmen, like freaking like, why are you showing me this? Are you telling me something? They've been showing like the classic Superman with Reeves and Wonder Woman. It's like, what's happening here? What's happening?
Yeah, and you mentioned Flashpoint. So for the fans that don't know, like I mentioned before, the Flash has this power, right? He can sort of rewrite his own history. He can rewrite the history of everything, right? Like he did in the amazing Apocalypse War animated movie. So it's, I don't know. It's so, okay. So the point of that story was that, he comes from tragedy like most superheroes do. His mother was allegedly murdered by by her husband, his father, right? And so he goes back in time to kind of fix what went wrong. And if fans, if you want to learn more about this storyline, it's really cool. This film may be loosely based off of it. There's a really cool animated feature, Flashpoint Paradox, and the graphic novel written by Jeff Johns and drawn by, I believe it's Andy Kubert.
Oh, word, I think
That was
so.
fantastic.
Yeah, no, and exactly, and we want to avoid obviously any major spoiler. I don't know, like it's tricky because it's good. It's comic books. These comic books came out a long time ago, but exactly that story is dope. And then with him going back in time to change that shit, like fucking changes everything in terms of the multiverse and like in their reality specifically. And so it'll be dope to see them do that in the film, right? And so one of the cool things that they were showing us there regarding the multiverse, right? That they were showing us, like Jess said, right, that he has going to have a new costume. Which honestly, I love it. I'm glad. I didn't like the costume that we saw in the movie so far, like in the Justice League movie. I didn't like it's clunky. It's like all built, like whatever. I'm happier for like this like kind of slimmer look one that kind of looks more like the comic book, but with its own flair. But the dopest thing about it, right, is that they're telling us that Batman helped him make this suit, and because they're showing us only concept arts, right? There's no photo of Ezra Miller in the suit, but so they're showing us the concept art, and in the concept art for that scene, you see none other than Michael Keaton's Batman.
Oh man,
as the Batman that helped him do it. That's fucking amazing.
I just want to say that is total and utter speculation, simply based on the fact that I think the tech from Batman '89 is too shitty to be able to build a costume for the Flash. Go back and watch that movie. The tech does not hold up.
But we're assuming it's Batman '89, but we don't know if it's still set in '89. It still could be like that Batman Beyond.
Oh my god! If they pull like a Marvel Studios and de-age Michael Keaton for a scene, I'm gonna lose my shit. If they pull it off right, like that would be so fucking sick. But like Miguel said, I don't think he's traveling to 1989 to get his suit.
some Back to the Future shit.
We don't know this. We don't know this, man. All right,
but
we don't know
in the concept art though, it was basically, it looked like just the classic Batman suit from '89. Which to Chess's point, it looks like it might be '89, but I don't care, dude. That Michael Keaton can, it's the Tim Burton universe, technology, fuck it, he can figure it out and do this awesome suit, and I love it. And obviously, they didn't talk about it there. But a big thing here, too, was that they just confirmed that Rod's main man, Batfleck, is coming back as Batman for this movie.
That's exactly what I wanted to mention. That's exactly what I wanted to mention. And that really, the fact that they're doing the multiverse and they already have two Batmen in this film. There were some rumors circulating about Jeffrey Dean Morgan, potentially, because he's Thomas Wayne in Batman versus Superman. And also, if you follow the Flashpoint storyline, when the Flash goes back to prevent his mother from being murdered, somehow he jumps into the present, and Thomas Wayne is Batman, and Bruce Wayne was killed in the alley that night. And that's a really cool spin on an old story.
Right, with Martha Wayne becoming Joker.
Dude. Right.
Oh, that whole Flashpoint universe is a trip.
And again, from the genius mind of Jeff Johns, who wasn't present at this thing, which I found really weird. He's still like dodging all the weed and all the weed and heat. He's like underground.
The Ray Fisher, also like
job. The one thing that I kind of wanted to go over is the fact that, well, it's not really a fact, but it's something I've been kind of going over in my head, is were they originally going to go with the Flashpoint as the plot for the Flash movie, or did they switch to that when they saw that they fucked everything up?
Oh,
I don't know. I felt like it was Flashpoint the whole time. Like for as long as I've heard about Flash having a solo movie, it was going to deal with him, because that's his most interesting story, right? And it's funny because it's a fairly recent story that kicked off DC resetting their whole line in continuity. But yeah, it's like again, Jeff Johns just has the Midas touch with all these classic DC characters. The Aquaman film, Shazam, all these movies were literally ripped from the pages of his work on the DC comic books.
Totally, exactly. So it makes sense that they're going to follow suit and do the same thing for the Flash, and just
Jeff Johns, where you at though, bruh?
Yo,
where you hiding though? Jim Lee was on like almost every panel. Like,
exactly. Like some panels he had nothing to do with it.
Like there's a panel with like only like black actresses, and Jim Lee was there chilling. Like, yeah, man, what's up? We're out here fighting.
Jeff Johns was like, "Nah, I'm good. No, thank you."
Yo, maybe he was banned. You don't know. Shit.
He just wanted to avoid that one question, like one fan just going, "Why?"
And again, we got hit with 2 bombshells so far, right? The Fandome just started. Wonder Woman 84, this Flashpoint massive movie, and then what's next?
Yes.
The Suicide Squad, gentlemen.
Boom!
Oh my God,
man, that movie was amazing. Like, well, I mean, I haven't seen it.
Are you the Flash? you're abusing our time travel abilities. I see.
Come on,
the chess point paradox.
Damn.
But don't spoil the movie for us, man. We know you don't care for spoilers like to the degree that you'll travel in the future, watch them, and we'll be like, all right, whatever. Damn.
All right, fine. Listen, the only thing I'm gonna say about the movie is that it's gonna win an Oscar in every category.
Shit.
Damn.
But yeah, that panel was wild. I did not expect so many characters. Holy crap, that was awesome.
Yeah, no, the panel, I do think the Suicide Squad panel was one of the most fun panels that this thing had. Like I could besides we'll get into the epicness of it. They just showed us so much good shit that just got us excited. But I also just loved seeing like how much fun they had. I could tell they all liked each other, that they were all just having a good time and joking around, and like James Gunn just seems like so cool. And like exactly like Jess said, like it's just so many characters, and they revealed everybody. They revealed who is which character, and the actor that is being played. It's just incredible.
It was like a Hollywood Squares kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
And also John Cena, who's going to be in the film, was looking hella presidential, looking polished as fuck. So I want to start this hashtag right now: Cena for president or vice president, because The Rock is still out there.
Ah, good.
And we'll get to that later, ladies and gentlemen.
Oof.
Word. And I had mentioned in our chat thread that when this movie comes out, I think there might be a new contender for the most American character ever. Because as per the panel, I think it's John Cena. He's playing a character named Peacemaker, whose concept is as America as it gets, and that's peace at no matter what the cost.
That's right.
Yeah, can't wait. There's so many characters there that I had no idea who they were, and also just like speaking about actually. So now let's get into like what did they show us, right? I think for me personally, one of the big things that they revealed that I love James Gunn, man, because I really do believe that he knows his shit. He knows his comic books, and because apparently, right? Because he was saying, like, is this movie a sequel to the last movie that the Ayer movie, right? Suicide Squad. Like it is, but it's not, right?
Release the Ayer cut.
But what he was saying though, but he feels he's taking a big inspiration from like the OG Suicide Squad run by John Ostrander. And which I've never read, but I kind of have to now. I'm very curious to read this book, especially because this inspired the movie. And so what I loved, and he told us how he actually reached out to John Ostrander that included him kind of like in helping him run by the ideas. And so he's saying it's like a spiritual successor to his books, which I think is like the coolest shit fucking ever.
And it's great to have a comic geek like in a position of power like James Gunn is, right? Because he's like a legitimate comic book fan. We saw what he did with Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 1 and 2. Now he's bringing that energy, that love, that gold to DC with the perfect movie for him. The perfect movie, The Suicide Squad. Like this is gonna redeem the so-so air cut, I think.
I am also extremely happy to be getting Idris Elba as who I believe, what was it, Bloodsport?
Correct.
I have no idea who the character is, but I know who the fuck Idris Elba is. And as far as I know, it could have been Idris Elba, like as the character, and I would have been just as hyped.
Word.
Yo, exactly. Like and I love that, right? Because there's so many characters that I don't really know about at all. I've never read a Suicide Squad book, and that's the other cool thing that's really cool about. And Jim Lee mentioned in a different panel down the road where James Gunn really just went deep and just found the most random characters that I don't even know. Maybe they were at some point in the Suicide Squad. Maybe they weren't. Who cares? And he just pulled them out and had them be a part of, and apparently that he did him in a very, very good, cool way.
Yeah, and I'm expecting a lot of these characters to be killed off in the movie. So it's kind of good that he picked from like the bucket of C-listers. So we're gonna see a lot of wild shit go down. The only A-list is Harley Quinn, played by the lovely and talented Margot Robbie once again, and her outfit looks fucking sick. I think out of all the versions we've seen of her in it's been 2 movies, right?
Yes.
This is probably the best look. This is probably the best look for her.
Yeah. And I think you made a mistake when you said C-list. I'd say like E-list.
Word, that Z-list.
Like they're not even like, on the list. They're like on the pile on the side next to the list. You're like, all right.
We're gonna see heads explode, literally. So for the fans that don't know a little bit of the concept, I mean, you probably saw the movie. The guys that actually watched that shit, but it's that Amanda Waller. She's like a government agent, like a black ops government agent, and she has a task force that goes out and does these missions. These are all convicts. She implants a bomb in their head, and they got to follow orders. If they follow the orders and accomplish the mission, they get time off their sentence. So it's a cool ass concept. And we have Viola Davis returning as Amanda Waller. The only one of the good things about the Suicide Squad movie, aside from Margot Robbie and Will Smith,
and I will say Rick Flag. I like the actor Joel Kinnaman.
Yes.
He plays. I like him as an actor. Period. I've seen some of his shit. It's dope. And him as Rick Flag, I love it.
And I like that he brought out the yellow T-shirt. Like that's a classic Rick Flag look.
That fire guy was pretty epic, El Diablo. I think he was a pretty cool highlight in that first movie.
El Diablo.
Yo, but another thing that we caught from the panel, right? Which so they showed some dope scenes of what they're doing, right? And what we were talking about, the joy, right? That the joy that they seem to have had in making the film, and how Gunn is a comic, nerd, actually, like a comic geek. One thing that I felt a little bit weird though, right, was that he referenced several times how he's like, this is the best movie I've ever made. This is the best comic book movie, the most fun I've had making a comic book movie.
As we know, our guy James Gunn got caught up in some scandal. Like it was about 3 years ago. Some old tweets surfaced, and the social justice warriors came out with their pitchforks, and they hung them up to dry. And Disney responded by saying, "Hey, we're not going to have you do Guardians Volume 3," which I thought was fucking ridiculous. So what does James Gunn do? He doesn't start crying in a corner somewhere, or become a director hitman for hire like other people that we've mentioned a lot in this podcast. He was courted by DC, and he picked up the Suicide Squad. And afterwards, Marvel came right back and offered him Guardians 3. So he's still doing that film.
Yeah.
So we're getting a lot of James Gunn.
But I felt exactly. So and I love them. He did Guardians of the Galaxy. I love that he did Guardians of the Galaxy because I was a fan of Guardians of the Galaxy before they were a film. So I was shocked that he got picked to do it, and that he knew the characters, and I think he did him justice. I didn't like the second movie a lot. It was fine. The first movie was fantastic.
Kurt Russell, though?
Yeah, but my big thing with, because it wasn't a very comic book faithful Ego. you know. And so that's my only thing. And then like confusing celestial versus not celestial. But we digress. That's a conversation for another time. But I don't know. I felt him making all those comments about like how like this is the best movie he's made, how much fun it is. I'm like, dude, like, didn't you just make Guardians of the Galaxy? Like, isn't it too soon, man, for you to be making like? It's like you just broke up with your girl, and then like immediately with your new girl, and you're like, yo, this is the best sex I've ever had in front of your ex. You know, like Jesus.
And also, I mean, come on now, like props to DC, because when Disney and the older super high money and budget of the movie was like, get out of here, and then like we don't need you, you need us. DC was like, hey, get your over talented ass over here, you non-home having bastard. We're gonna throw money at you and you're gonna make us money. Fuck a tweet.
Yeah, we don't care. We don't care about your comments about touching young boys. Like, come on. You know, we're
Yeah. Well, let's. Hopefully, it's not that. Hopefully, they were more like, we appreciate your honest apology for that, and we can look past that. Unlike Disney, that's like holding, for whatever reason, your feet to the flame still. And then, DC was like, all right, cool, come and join us. And then afterwards, like Disney's like, actually, can you come back? Like shit. But Suicide Squad, I can't wait. That's gonna be an exciting movie. I think it's gonna. I'm actually very, very excited. I think it's gonna be I think that might be. It might end up being one of the best DC films to come out. And I feel like James Gunn just seems rejuvenated. Like I feel like I really believe that he's actually putting in his fucking best in this film.
And that's scheduled for summer 2021.
All right.
Well, I mean, like two things is like one, he probably seems super graceful, like super graceful and grateful as fuck, both actually, to have his job still. You know what I mean? Considering this culture where he could have ended up, he's probably both grateful and graceful.
Yeah, and gracious too.
Yeah, word. And
yeah.
All these G words are great.
Yeah. I think he'd appreciate that you think he's graceful. I mean, who wouldn't want to be like, defined as graceful?
Actually, he is pretty graceful, because if you don't know, like, if for those of you out there that might not know, in the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 movie, right, one of the best opening scenes in the movie starts off with the fucking fighting off this awesome monster, and we have little baby Groot adorably dancing around as it's happening, and that's actually James Gunn dancing. It was him dancing, and then he just had the whole animation done on him. So he is a graceful man.
It's pretty crazy.
And for those fans of Guardians, there's a couple of Guardians alum on this film too. So,
Oh, yeah.
And the one thing that I'm looking forward to in this film is that, and we saw some cuts of it from the trailer, is the big fight scenes with all of them in it at the same time.
Oh, I remember about that. I don't remember who it was. I think it was Idris Elba, who made the comment that he, which we'll talk about that too, because Idris Elba also, he talked shit about Marvel at one point, and now he's like, I don't want to do, comic book movies anymore, and now he's like in one of the biggest ones to come out. Anyway, whatever. People can fucking eat their words. Just fucking do the movies, man. Shit. Anyway, but the point is, he said something about like he felt like it looked like an actual graphic novel come to life, and I'm like, that's the goal, right? Obviously, that's the goal of every fucking movie. But actually, I don't know. And seeing those clips, I do believe it. I do think it's going to be a really good production.
All right. And on the topic of bringing the graphic novel to life, of being true to the source material, of paying homage to the fans, that every week go to the comic book store, pick up the latest issue. The passionate fans go to the conventions, pay for billboards in Times Square. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a special moment for fans because, ever since Marvel Studios, hired comic creators to run their films and to, give us these great stories that make all this money, it set a precedent. And I don't think there's ever been a project that's been as influenced by the fans as our next panel discussion. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the Snyder Cut.
For the 90th time on this podcast.
We need to have a Snyder Cut sound whenever I say that.
Yeah. I think we legit talk about the Snyder Cut, I think, in every freaking episode. The only difference is this time it's like
Yes.
warranted, like legit.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure some friends are starting to wonder: is this a comic book podcast where we happen to mention the Snyder Cut, or is this a Snyder Cut podcast where we happen to mention comic books?
Exactly. And we got interviews at Fandome from these diehard fans. And I thought I was a diehard Snyder Cut fan until I hear about these people that have been working hard and also tying the movement to suicide prevention, and then helping Zack Snyder
Yes.
fulfill his vision. That it's amazing. Usually it's a director in a position of power and he's creating something for the fans. This time the fans made it possible for us to get this 4-hour feature that will be broken up into 4 1-hour long chapters on HBO Max next summer. What were your thoughts on the trailer?
I just want to start off by saying, dude, like the most obvious fucking thing. Darkseid looks amazing. Oh my god. Good lord. It was mind blowing.
Yes. All right. So, as the resident Snyder Cut hater, I have to agree. Actually, I got pretty hyped from the trailer. And nothing against the man. The man is a lovely man, and I loved his interview. And I genuinely believe that he loves what he does, and I see it. I believe it. I don't have to love what he does, but like it's good stuff. But the trailer was fucking dope, and it makes you wonder, like, why wasn't any of that included in the actual cut, right? Because they showed us obviously Darkseid like fucking a ton, which was actually really really cool. And then I think one of the biggest things I think for me was like when they showed us actually the main villain, right? ¿Cómo se llama? What was his name? Steppenwolf. Exactly, that they showed us how he looked and how he was about to get into battle with Superman and everybody, and it's like, why didn't he look like that? He looks freaking dope and scary and like intense, and not the cartoon character we got in the actual movie. But anyway, I'm glad that we're gonna be able to see, and they had so much more scenes of all the other characters. I do believe they showed us a scene where they're gonna introduce Iris West. Barry Allen's the Flash future wife, main love interest, and his lightning rod, and it's just, that's so cool. That's very very cool.
Yeah, man, like I was shocked by the amount, just like you said, of stuff we saw. It's just crazy how the more of this we see, the more, one, our hate job conspiracy theory is being vindicated, and two, how aside from just the conspiracy theory itself, how shitty of a job Whedon did is being exposed. Like, what the fuck? I want my money back.
I'm dying to hear from Rod.
Initially I wanted to record this podcast tomorrow or a few days from now because I knew that watching this trailer was going to have a powerful impact on me, and it did. It looks gorgeous. It's in the same feel as, Batman versus Superman, the Ultimate Edition. And the fact that we're getting 4 hours and that it's going to finish, Zack Snyder's story, that, is it or is it not? Like, you never know. It could branch off if it's really successful. But I just thought, having the background song like Snyder likes to do in his trailers, Hallelujah, and just having all this graphic imagery, of Superman getting like pulled apart by power, having the Flash run through the Speed Force, seeing Cyborg, more of him, more of his backstory. I'm stoked, to say the least. I can't wait for this movie.
I just want to go on a side note that I hate the way the Flash runs. I hate the way Ezra Miller's Flash runs compared to Grant Gustin. Ezra Miller's Flash, like, he looks like Gumby. Like, it's just arms flapping around and flailing. Like, he looks like he doesn't know how to run, which I think in his movie is going to be part of his transition, where like he's going to learn how to run. And I just did air quotes on an audio podcast. I'm sorry. But where he's going to learn how to run, because his run looks so stupid. But the trailer looks so good.
Hater.
Why you hating,
Nah,
man?
man.
Why you hating?
Yeah, you've been hating a lot. Hate on Wonder Woman. You like that Smurf? Was the Grandpa Smurf? He's like, I hate love.
That's not.
I hate
Love,
fun.
damn. Why you hating on love?
He hates love.
I think that's Grumpy
What
Smurf.
happened to that Smurf?
I think that's Grumpy
Whoa.
Smurf.
Dude, he had undiagnosed like anger issues.
Anyway,
Anyway,
the Snyder Cut I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'm still skeptical because I saw some beautiful shots doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a good movie. But I do feel much more excited about it than I was before, and I do think whatever it is, it's going to be very fun. It's going to be great. I can't fucking wait.
And the one thing that I'm super excited about in the new Snyder Cut is to see all that stuff that has to do with Cyborg, man. Like when his dad dies and all the interactions with the mother box. I was like I'm excited to see more of Mr. Ray Fisher.
Yes.
and just like a quick backstep on the Flash panel. I don't think it was a coincidence that they had like montages of Flash movies and DC Universe stuff, and they showed a lot of Watchmen, the HBO Watchmen show. There were a couple of clips of Dr. Manhattan. Zack Snyder mentioned, he directed the film. He mentioned how his two favorite characters are Batman and Dr. Manhattan. And I don't know whether or not they're gonna, connect it with the Watchmen. Will be very interesting. I think it's something that Zack Snyder would like to do, and you've heard me talk about that, my wild theories on previous episodes. So, but yes,
I hope they don't. I hope they don't. I want Zack Snyder to stay focused. Focus, my boy. Focus on the Justice League. Try to just do that well, and then we can see if we allow you to play with other toys. All right,
bro. Can you imagine what Dr. Manhattan would do to Darkseid? Like that shit would be sick. Anyway,
exactly. All right, so moving from powerhouses like Dr. Manhattan, Superman, Darkseid, the next panel that we got was, honestly, I think for me, that was actually one of the ones that got me the most excited. Finally, we got a panel on Black Adam, The Rock's Black Adam. It was great to hear him talk about how this is a passion project of his. It really made me feel like Ryan Reynolds with Deadpool. Because he meant he's been working at this for 10 years. You got to respect that, and you got to. It's gonna be a good movie, or at least something that I feel they're gonna do something that he's going to love, and he's a comic book fan, which means we're gonna love.
I'm glad you said that. You said that the Black Adam panel is one of the ones that got you the most excited, because before we got into that, I was just thinking that even though it had one of the least amounts of content, it had some of the strongest energy out of the entire fandom.
Yes,
I don't know what it was about that event. I don't know if it was like The Rock's charisma or gravitas or whatever the word is, but it's like they had no.
It's game.
They had he was jacked in that sweater. It was Trap and Belt City. But yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But like that panel, it wasn't a panel, it was just a rock, had zero content, and it was amazing. It had like that cartoon trailer that was made by Boss Logic, which was like super awesome. But
shout out to Boss Logic.
Yeah, shout out to Boss Logic.
Yes.
That was an amazing visual piece.
Boss
I
Logic.
recommend everyone go look it up. But aside from that, it had all the info was like very vague. Aside from the fact it's going to include what I thought was a lot of people from the JSA, which was amazing. But as far as all the stuff that we saw before that, with like the other panels, it had way less. But it felt like it. But I felt it more.
Yeah, because then everything that they showed was just basically concept art, and that was it. And dope ass concept art, right? As they mentioned, and I love that The Rock actually gave the shout out. He said there was Jim Lee and Boss Logic who made the concept art for that, and then just showing everything, and then just mentioning how exactly they're going to introduce the JSA, which we've talked about, I think, in previous episodes, right? Because then the coolest thing, right? Because we've known from before that they were going to introduce Atom Smasher, right? which is a member of the JSA, not one of the main ones, I feel, but like one of the members, right? It makes you wonder, like, are they going to introduce new people, new other JSA members? And he kind of mentioned, right, before at the end, saying, like, as we introduce the JSA, I'm like, excuse me, what now? And then at the end, he shows who are the other JSA members who are going to be a part of the movie. And Jesus Christ, they're going to introduce Hawkman, freaking Dr. Fate, what was it? And then Adam Smasher, and then some other person who I don't know.
Cyclone.
Also, I just want to make a quick note. So with our epic time travel technology, I'm going to correct myself now for an episode that we're going to post in the future after this one, where I state that Adam Smasher's power set is that where he can control things on a molecular level. When I say that, that's wrong. What I meant to say was that his power set is that he can increase his bone density and strength to like whatever will he chooses. So yeah, so I'm correcting myself technically in the past, but also in the future, as only we can here on the Legion on Zoom. And also, secondly, the one thing that I noticed during the Black Adam panel, I noticed that the way he was talking about it is almost like he was talking about the Rock verse.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he called out all the heavy hitters. He called out Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman.
Yes.
He's like, I'm out here. Like, but for the fans that don't know, Black Adam is like the ruler of this like Middle Eastern nation where the
Kandak.
sovereign Kandak. Yep. And he's like an anti-hero. He's not afraid to take whatever measures are necessary to make sure that justice is upheld.
And it's connected to the Shazam movies, right? Because technically the way it works is that he was the original Shazam, right? That he was given those powers first, and
Right.
then I guess he abused them sort of in a way, because he's like the anti-hero, right? Like he serves justice as like at any cost, and it's just so cool. And exactly, and like just mentioned, like his speech, I felt at the end like threatening the whole DC universe, saying like what is it that the power hierarchy has now changed? Like, god damn, that is ballsy. Like, I cannot wait to see him then go up against the Justice League, right? Go up against like Justice League from other dimensions, the multiverse, everything. I want to see Black Adam in almost every movie moving forward.
Right. I wonder if this is going to take place, alongside, Wonder Woman and Shazam, or if it's going to be its own universe.
Well, I mean, if he keeps on saying that, it has to be within the same continuity, because if not, him saying that is kind of a moot point. Is like the hierarchy of power is going to change. What hierarchy if you're not a part of it?
Right. And this JSA, for those that don't know, JSA is like an alternate universe. It's like the precursor to the Justice League, the older team assembled, and they have a Flash and they have a Green Lantern, but those characters haven't been announced for this movie.
And the one thing that I found very interesting is it's like, okay, he keeps on saying that, yeah, the hierarchy of power is going to change, but didn't that happen when they introduced Captain Marvel? I mean, I'm sorry, when they introduced Shazam. Yeah, thank you. Because what people need to understand is, yeah, that was a kid's movie. Shazam is one of the, I want to say, top 4 most powerful characters in all of DC. So him saying that is almost kind of it almost kind of makes no sense. But I do give him a tad bit of credit, because he does admit to the fact that what makes Black Adam a bit more powerful than Shazam is the lack of restraint.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And the age.
Yes.
Yeah, and the age. So, I mean, you're talking about a 13-year-old compared to a 5,000-year-old grown-ass man. It doesn't get more grown-ass than 5 millennia.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait for that movie. I hate that it's taking so long, and with COVID and anything like that, right? Like, I don't know when it's actually going to start or anything, but they're moving closer to it, right? So I was very, very excited about it. And I think especially to see Hawkman and Dr. Fate introduced, because I really think that they can then milk that a lot. I feel like even the Hawkman and Hawkgirl story is worthy of the movies, right? It's the story of these two Egyptian, individuals from ancient Egypt that were killed and then are just basically forced to reincarnate. And then it gets more complicated that I don't even actually really understand. That involves other planets, Thanagar, and whatnot. And it's just trippy as fuck, and it would make for a great movie, And then Dr. Fate would be like their version of Doctor Strange, with Constantine is also kind of that, but like it would be dope. It would just be dope.
And that's why I said at the beginning that the way he was talking about it, I kept on hearing, am I hearing a Black Adam verse? Or like, am I hearing a Shazam verse?
Sure, yeah. No, I'm excited. I don't know if it's going to be like the Black Adam verse, because I feel the way how menacing it was, I think it's all going to be The Rock's verse now, Like, I think the multiverse is going to be within The Rock now, and I couldn't be any happier.
Yep, and we were just talking about on the last episode. Well, the last episode that was released was who's like the biggest celebrity to ever, be a superhero. And I think I don't know. I think it's The Rock.
and the funny part is, I think that we had brought him up in that conversation. Like, well, I think that's subtle.
Ah, man. All right, but moving on, right? So we got the awesome panels, or we're almost reaching the biggest fucking one, right? But the next one, which is pretty cool.
Wait. Hold on. You said we're almost reaching the biggest one?
Yeah, come on. Oh.
I think we just discussed the biggest one.
Oh, I think, all right, we'll save this argument for the end. All right. Because I'm like, come on.
Yeah.
All right. No, anyway, so moving forward, right? Because then we had the Titans panel, which we've talked about Titans before. It's a great show on the DC Universe. I think it's going to get picked up in HBO Max. Season 2 wasn't that great. Visually, it was fun. They gave you a lot of really fun stuff, like introducing Superboy, and who else was introduced in season 2?
A little bit of Blackfire.
Yeah.
Oh, Slade, of course. We got Deathstroke.
Yeah. So it was cool to see their panel. Again, just remembering why all the actors are pretty cool, pretty dope. But obviously, one of the coolest things about that is that they gave us at least a preview of what season 3 is going to be about, right? And so as we know, in Titans, we have 2 Robins, right? Dick Grayson, that eventually becomes Nightwing in season 2. And we have Jason Todd, who is the next Robin, but apparently Jason Todd is going to become the Red Hood for season 3, and he's going to be the main antagonist. What do you guys think?
Yeah, we got a good dose of Red Hood so far in Fandome.
That was a crazy reveal. I mean, I've yet to see Titans except from like a bunch of clips here and there, but from what I see as far as the production value, I cannot wait to get this live action Red Hood. Oh my god. And oddly enough, for those of you who know about like actors and like in pop culture and stuff, the first thing I thought about, like as soon as I heard that the kid who plays Jason Todd is going to play
Red Hood,
on Titans, was the fact that this actor, what's his name, Jensen Ackles, he's probably going to be very upset about that. For those of you who don't know, Jensen Ackles is the guy from Supernatural who's voiced the Red Hood, I think, on more than one occasion. And he was chasing that role for a while.
Yep, and he'll be on the next season of The Boys. I forget which character he's playing, but he's going to show up on that.
And I think, and regardless, like he already knew he didn't have a shot because they already had Jason Todd was in that Titans universe. So there's no way he's going to suddenly be the new Red Hood. But I do think he still has a shot to be the Red Hood in a movie, perhaps, So he keep on trying, my good man. Keep on trying. The other cool thing about the Titans reveal, what I like was the first 2 seasons they're basically set, I think, for the most part in Detroit and like in San Francisco. And now for season 3, they're going to be in Gotham, which that's going to be cool. And apparently because of that, we're going to be introduced to Barbara Gordon, not just any Barbara Gordon. It's going to be Commissioner Barbara Gordon. So which will be interesting to see this different version, this different take on the would-be Batgirl.
And not just that, she's a love interest of Dick Grayson, who's now Nightwing, leader of the Titans. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out and just seeing another take on Gotham. I mean, so far the show has been pretty good. It's not the best show. You still have The Boys and Watchmen and things like that. But I really dig this show. I wish we would have got at least a sneak peek, but I guess we'll have to wait for that. Fucking COVID.
Fuck you, COVID.
Since they said that they're going to have a commissioner, Barbara Gordon, have they explained what happened to the OG Commissioner Gordon on that show or no?
I don't think so.
Oh, wow.
Might have to look back at that nightmare sequence in the end of season 1. I don't remember what happened. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, so that was that for Titan. So that was cool. That got me excited, and it reminded me because I had a bad taste in my mouth for Titan season 2, and so this got me kind of hyped and looking forward to it again. And the next thing that we got it was a new game trailer. Now this from the Rocksteady group, known for the Arkham trilogy fame, and they revealed the trailer for Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Wow, that was insane. And that game is due in 2022. So we sincerely think that all they have is that trailer that they showed us.
Yeah, luckily we get Arkham Knights in the meantime.
Yeah, I'm surprised they gave us so much like gaming content, like so much awesome. And on top of that, even though this has nothing to do with DC fandom, but when you throw in the upcoming Avengers game, then you throw in this, then you throw in like Gotham Knights. Oh my God, like we're having like a superhero gaming renaissance. Then Spider-Man before that. All we need is like an awesome remake of like that X-Men game from a few years ago, and we're in the money.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need an X-Men game for sure. So this game, you play as the Suicide Squad, and like the title implies, you're trying to stop the Justice League. Again, maybe one of these Amanda Waller missions, right, that you have to do. So you see the Suicide Squad, you see, Harley Quinn, the most popular character there. She's accompanied by Deadshot, King Shark, and Captain Boomerang. So you get to play as all these characters, maybe more. And, your job is you're going to be in Metropolis. And your job is going to be to take down, the Justice League. And this game is also a bit of a successor to the Arkham series.
And it seems that, and this might be the most proper successor, right? Because it's from Rocksteady, right? And then because the Gotham Knights game is by the Warner Brothers Montreal Gaming, the company. And so, because I don't know, because Rocksteady made the Arkham Knights games, and then what did the Warner Brother Montreal game make?
It was Arkham Origins was that Warner Brothers Montreal game, which is only loosely considered canon in the Arkham trilogy, which was Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and Arkham Knight.
Right.
So, DC's wanted to get some extra games out of the franchise. It's very successful. It's the highest rated superhero video game, I think, ever. I'm not sure if Spider-Man took that crown or not. But, if you're a continuity geek, like some of us are, present company included, you'll care about that. But otherwise, both games look fucking sick.
Yes.
And if both are co-op. If I got to choose, I don't know. I'm going for that Gotham Knights. Yeah. They both look pretty sick. But damn, that shit looks fun.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would go, I think, with Gotham. Also, just because it didn't really show us the gameplay yet or anything like that. But obviously, if I have to pick, what am I more excited to play as? Either as Harley Quinn and King Shark or Nightwing and Red Hood. And I'm gonna go with Nightwing and Red Hood. Come on.
Fuck yeah.
Well, for the sake of not being a sheep, my fellow Legionnaires, and for the sake of being the contrarian, and also, just to be honest, just for the sake of straight variety. Because if you think about it, in the Arkham games, those games are so good that they've had amazing DLCs where you already play as those characters and you get the skins. So to be perfectly honest, I'd rather go with the Suicide Squad game just to get something so different. I like the fact that they're going with Captain Boomerang's son, who happens to be a speedster. But aside from that, definitely.
Ooh, I didn't pick. I didn't notice that. Good call. I was wondering, why is he running so fast?
Yeah, that's because the OG Captain Boomerang, he's not a speedster, but I don't know if it's that his son gets selected by the Speed Force, or his mom is a speedster, something like that.
His mom is a meta.
There you go. But
dope.
I would go with the Suicide Squad game just because technically we've played as all those characters a bunch of times, and I don't imagine that they're gonna have crazy brand new mechanics. Just they're probably gonna be better.
Word.
And I think the Suicide Squad is the bigger game,
Yes.
right? It's like the more, because I feel like the Gotham Knights game is more like a pick up, beat 'em up, action adventure, fun with your friends versus the Suicide Squad, which is like an immersive large game experience. I could be wrong, but we'll
No,
see.
a good point, good point. And I think in terms of like, Chess is convincing me, which is rare, just fucking rare. Because that's the other thing too with the Rocksteady Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League game is that it's also exciting. It's supposed to be like almost open world. It's going to be in Metropolis, which is going to be fucking dope, right? Because before we explored Gotham with the Arkham games, and obviously the idea that you're gonna go up against the Justice League, like those boss battles are gonna be fucking cool. And then the other part that I think we didn't mention from the trailer though, because in the trailer it shows us that Brainiac is there though. Brainiac is taking over Metropolis and he's controlling the Justice League, right? So then that eventually is going to lead to some epic battle against Brainiac. So that's going to be fucking cool to see.
Yeah, man. Like, even though we didn't get much aside from just the trailer, I could already imagine, like, just think of stuff like the skill trees they're going to have, all the different play styles. You know what I mean? Like, you have your tank, you have your DPS. You probably don't have a healer anywhere in there because, they're all bad guys. But you know what I mean? I think just a lot more, what's the term? Replay value in the Suicide Squad game. I mean, the game's not even made yet. But just from but just from
2 years away.
I love it.
But just from, like, I should get hired by these people to sell the game. But just from like a concept standpoint, I would go that route because I think that Gotham Knights is like, it's like an Arkham DLC on steroids.
Yeah, it is.
And I just brought down that entire game.
You did a good job.
No, you made it sound more awesome. What are you talking about? I want to play an Arkham DLC on steroids.
All right, fine, fair enough.
All right, so that was awesome, right? We're excited about that, and it had Will Arnett interviewing, Will Arnett, which is known for BoJack Horseman, and being Job in Arrested Development, and obviously most recently, right, being Batman in the Lego Movie. So that was fun to seeing him interview the characters, and then the main guy from Rocksteady, which I don't remember his name, but but kudos to him in making this epic game. So, but then that led to what I think was the best thing of the whole damn day, the biggest fucking thing. We had the Batman panel.
Word. Woo!
Thought.
The main event.
All right, tell me. Discuss.
Fight night.
Discuss, guys. Discuss.
It was amazing, man. That trailer was sick. My favorite part is when you saw that this Batman, he might be the most unhinged when he beats the shit out of that clown kid. That second right there, it shows you some shit. This Batman is unhinged.
All right. There's a lot there. Let's break it down.
Let's unpack
exactly.
all that.
Let's break it down, right? So obviously, for the people out there, right, Matt Reeves directing the new Batman movie, right? The reboot, basically, right? So we have Robert Pattinson from Twilight fame playing Batman, which I was hella skeptical about him playing Batman, right? And so they've already filmed apparently like 25% of the movie, but then they had to stop because of COVID, right? And so they were able today to basically, the director giving us an idea what the movie's about. It's supposed to be about this untrained, not untrained, but unexperienced Batman. It's got Batman year 2, basically. And so it's going to be cool to see him kind of like, rough around the edges, figuring stuff out. A big focus on it, right? That he's focused on that he is the greatest detective in the world, right? And so they're going to focus the story on that. But so they were able to give us a trailer of what they've done, and the trailer just had so much fucking good stuff that let's break it down. Let's talk about it like bit by bit. I don't know.
Yeah, just like I mean, just when you think you've seen all there is to see about Batman, it's great when a director can come in and just give it a brand new spin, and show us things that we maybe haven't really seen. We've seen so much cool shit. We've got Michael Keaton, we got Christian Bale, we got Ben Affleck, who's also on the Fandome, by the way. And I feel like this trailer was kind of new. I like the whole loner vibe to it. I like the look of the Batman costume. And we saw some cool glimpses. Bear in mind, the movie's only about 25% done because COVID, kind of stopped things temporarily. We got our first look at Zoe Kravitz as Selena Kyle. That's going to be fucking cool. And one thing I really found interesting about the trailer is that Batman's kind of in the open talking to Commissioner Gordon in front of police officers. Like there's this open relationship with the GCPD and Batman. I mean, or maybe not exactly, because once you see the trailer, you see that it is an interesting relationship that they have. So I was never a naysayer on Robert Pattinson. I think that post Heath Ledger, just throw all your expectations out the window. These comic book creators know these film creators, and just overall, when you have people like Jim Lee at the helm, the aforementioned Jeff Johns, I think these guys know what the fuck they're doing. And I think this film's going to be no different. And if it's still on schedule, it was supposed to be released next summer. That means we're going to get pummeled next summer by the Snyder Cut, Suicide Squad, The Batman, who knows what else. Hopefully, they figure this COVID shit out so filming can resume and we'll get these films on time. But I'm really stoked about this movie.
Yeah. You mentioned one specific part, and you took it right out of my mouth, essentially. I keyed in on that nuance during the trailer right away that he's just out there in the open, and the cops are like, okay, hey, it's Batman. And, like, as per Matt Reeves, they're doing a Batman year 2, so it's like, okay, so people in the GCPD are just very accepting of a mass vigilante on his second year. Like, he's just around people. But then what I'm looking forward to most in the movie, and mind you, even though despite everything they said, I want to know what's up with that scene in the cell when he's surrounded by police officers.
Yeah.
I want to see what's up with that scene. That scene had me very curious. And the car. Oh, my God, the car.
Oh my god! So much to talk about right there. It's so good. And exactly, and I think it might be reasonable that for by year 2, the GCPD is a little bit like at least amicable or at least just not trying to shoot him. Because technically, if we remember year 1, the awesome book by Frank Miller, right, which is pretty much a James Gordon book. Obviously, they're all skeptical. He's a vigilante. They're trying to get Batman, right? But I think basically once at that point, what is it? Detective Gordon, right, becomes Commissioner Gordon, that changes. And from the scenes that we're seeing in the movie, Jeffrey Wright playing Commissioner Gordon, first of all, looks fucking badass, and I immediately loved him as Commissioner Gordon. I feel that the fact that he's the commissioner probably helps to make things calmer. And obviously, once you see the trailer, you see that what's happening is that a bad guy, which I'm speculating is the Riddler, is leaving these bodies for him, leaving notes that says for Batman. And so they have to bring him in to be like, all right, what the fuck do you think about this? What are you doing to my city? Kind of thing. Which is exciting. But I think one big thing I wanted to ask you guys, so what did you think? Because obviously a big thing in Batman is like the costume, right? Like what's the new Batman going to look like, right? In that scene, that moment, right, when they just show you like to the Batman, the letter that Commissioner Gordon is holding and ask like, what do you think of this? And then they give us our first scene, our first look at Robert Pattinson's Batman suit. What do you guys think? What do you guys think of the suit?
Well, I think I may have found my new second favorite bat suit. However, I will say.
Let me guess. Your favorite is Ben Affleck.
Nope, absolutely not. It is Christian Bale. Third favorite is now Ben Affleck. Second is Pattinson. However, the bat logo that they're going with for this movie, you know how they did like the bat logo reveal? I think that bat logo is absolutely fucking garbage. But
Damn.
but this bat suit, it looks really good. It's like you can tell it's like the early beginnings of the suit, but at the same time, you can tell that it's like super functional and is grounded, as in like he knows he can get hurt and there's actual stuff to protect him. Like I love the suit. I love the suit, and I hope that the logo, because it looks like it's removable. I think it's supposed to be like the pieces of the guns like that killed his parents or something like that. It's supposed to be like the parts of the gun, but I hope that he can detach the actual logo on his chest because it looked pretty cool. Overall, I love the suit.
Same, and I like that you said the word grounded. because Matt Reeves was talking about how this bat suit is going to be a bit different from the other ones in that he's going to make it as functional as possible. Right, and that's something we haven't really seen that much. I mean, it was touched on in the Nolan films, but I'm ready to see a Batman that can take a leak whenever he wants.
Word. And I think we talked about this a little bit in the Origins episode when we basically went against a different Batman and different Bruce Waynes, and we talked about the suits. And we were talking, for example, for Batman '89, how the suit had the worst neck mobility, right? And so I think this suit, the Matt Reeves, Robert Pattinson, is going to show us that exactly, that it seems functional. And for example, and that one scene that they showed us of him fucking beating up that like clown gang, right? Which obviously also comment like what clown gang, like,
yo, I don't even want to start thinking about that, man.
What?
Fuck, if they're already, hinting at the Joker, fuck, like, oh my god.
Yo, but so he beat the guy up with such ease, such dope mobility that made me feel like, oh my fucking god, I can't.
Ruthlessly.
Yes! And I think for me personally, something that made me very happy, that which we talked about the Origins episode, that one of my biggest complaints about most of the other Batmen have been the Batman voice, which is fine, but usually very like exaggerated and cartoony almost. When he had his one line as Batman right in the trailer that said like, what was it?
I am vengeance.
Oh my god, that was so good.
And then as soon as he said I am vengeance, they showed the car engine.
Ooh, that sexy beast.
Yeah, man, I'm sorry, like I was saying, well, I used to say that my favorite Batmobile, believe it or not, was the Tumbler. But I think I may have found my new favorite Batmobile. This, and I'm even calling it now. If this part gets a sequel, my favorite Batmobile is the one from part 2 of this movie that's not even out yet. Cause damn, that car is hot.
Yeah, I'm so happy that Matt Reeves came with like a trailer, and only a small portion of the film has been done, and it's such a complete trailer, really, right? I mean, it had everything that you'd expect a fully made trailer based off a fully made film would have.
Exactly, like it's surprising to think like, yo, you have 25% of the movie done and you're able to give us this dope ass trailer. I'm like, just give me the 25% of the movie already. Like I'm good. Like like no, or it also made me feel like I trust you wholeheartedly. Like I know that the rest 75%, you're gonna do a good job.
Yeah, I mean, like I could have said it better myself. Like in essence, it's like if this trailer is what you could do with 25% of the movie, imagine the trailer of the whole movie would have been done.
Damn. And we're getting Oswald Cobblepot, aka the Penguin. We're getting Catwoman, and we're getting the Riddler. That's just what's been revealed so far.
And I actually wanted to ask you guys, what did you guys think? So, because in the trailer, right, we're hearing the bad guy's voice, the main villain, asking a Batman about some questions, right? And then we're seeing that the villain is leaving like these little notes that says to the Batman. And at the end, when the trailer ended, the date was switched from question marks to the date, right? And so I think that made it seem like Riddler's gonna be the main villain, which I fucking would love that. That would be great. And I think that there was some scenes that I think there was like a main bad guy like had like almost a face like with bandages and like almost Hush looking kind of, but I don't think it was Hush. I think is that like what the Riddler's gonna look like in the movie? I wouldn't be a fan of the look, but I don't care. Like I'll trust them wholeheartedly right now at this point.
Well, I mean, the whole time that Matt Reeves was talking about the whole movie, he kept on repeating the term things that nobody's ever seen before, or nobody's ever seen this, nobody's ever seen that. So I don't even know what to think about the main villain because there's so much speculation because there's not one hint of anything that tells you he's the Riddler. If you go off the bandages, he could be either Hush or maybe some weird iteration of Professor Pig, but that wouldn't make any sense in the movie.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can just go on forever, and because it didn't give any hint of it being Riddler, so maybe like the main mastermind of the movie is Riddler, and he has to work through the other bad guys as part of just like the main plot.
Like a Hush kind of deal.
Oh. I do think the main bad guy is Riddler, and I do think they gave us hints. I did, obviously, at the end, the biggest thing, which was the question marks, like that's a classic, the Riddler. And I think also the leaving the notes, that's also very much the Riddler. But what they didn't show us what's in the note, and I'm pretty sure the note's gonna have a riddle, or something like that. Probably.
Yeah, I think that Commissioner Gordon was like, reading one of the cards, and it's something like a riddle or something like that.
Okay.
Right?
Oh yeah. But I meant like I think at some point we saw the bad guy because they showed.
That's what I'm.
Like you said, Miguel. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it didn't look like anything Riddler related. You know what I mean?
But as you said, Matt Reeves repeated so many times that this is something no one has ever seen before. He said it like at least 15 times. So it's like, all right, I get it, man. No one's seen it before, man. Shit. All right,
that's like every panel, right? You've never seen anything like this.
I will.
He said that so many times during his panel that it made me think like, what would happen if there was a creator that wasn't trying to push the boundaries? Like this film is everything the fans expect. Everything in this movie, you've seen it all before. Like what? Like I would be excited to watch that for some reason.
Hell yeah, because it'd be good.
He's like, yeah, just give me more. Like, don't push any boundaries. Like, just do stuff that you did already.
So I will say though, just the one thing I can't help myself though, because I want to be objective as possible, right? I got fucking excited from the trailer, but I will say my one and only critique was actually there's a theme here from other topics that we've had. Bruce Wayne's hair. His hair in the trailer was shit. There's this one moment where he's like, where shit's fucking falling and he's like jumping and grabbing, and he's like grabbing people from like wreckage and stuff. And his hair is like fucking like flat and like just long and like looks so dumb. And I'm thinking, dude, you are a Playboy billionaire. That's not the haircut of a Playboy billionaire.
The reason why I think that is, and it came to me as soon as we were saying that, is because since I figured that we're in Batman year 2, he's not Bruce Wayne yet. He's still just Batman. Because remember, Batman isn't Bruce Wayne. He's that. Batman. He uses Bruce Wayne as a facade. There is no Bruce Wayne.
Okay, Kill Bill.
Well, yeah, but it's true though. So I think that, like, remember, because there's a bunch of clips in the trailer where he still has, like the mascara, like he looks dirty. He's unhinged, like he's done some next shit. So I think it's over time he realized, no, you know what? Like I have to make a Bruce Wayne, and then he starts to care. Because I think now overseeing is like all Batman all the time, no Bruce Wayne. Like he's only Bruce Wayne on paper. Which, and to quote Matt Reeves, we've never seen this before.
Yeah, I'm totally ready for Hot Topic Batman.
Yeah, me too.
I will say that. All right, I like that theory. So then if Matt Reeves, if you're listening, please just make sure that at the end, give my boy a haircut, give him a good, just a good stylist, just somebody to make it look nice and or like a little bit of hair gel, some kind of hair product, something. I don't know.
Yeah, he needs to call Val Kilmer, get some tips.
But yeah, so that's pretty much nails it, right, guys?
And well, yeah, I mean,
yep,
it does, but there's also the biggest question of all. What was actually the biggest reveal of Fandome?
Can I start? Can I start? You guys will never guess what my number one is. I'm gonna pick 3 because there's just too much content just to pick one.
No. You gotta pick one. What's the biggest one?
God damn. All right, can I pick 2? Can we do 2?
Okay, fine. How about this? Pick 2, but you can't pick the Snyder Cut.
Ooh, okay. All right, it's easy. Number 1, Gotham Knights. I love the fact that, you're going to get to play as all these other Batman characters, including the Red Hood and Batgirl. I love this Batgirl of Burnside look from the recent comics where she's wearing purple. She's very gadget-based. I'm looking forward to playing that with you gentlemen. And next, I'd put the Suicide Squad. We got some glimpses of it. We didn't get a trailer, but we did see some on-set footage. We saw some costumes. every actor that's on the film. It was revealed what character they'll be playing. I'm really stoked about that movie because I know James Gunn is gonna deliver. He's gonna dig deep into that treasure chest of DC Comics and just pull out shit that's gonna make the fanboys and the casual fans very happy. So those
Yo,
are my two.
those are your two choices. I want to let people know. I took a screenshot. We'll share this online. But Rod is wearing legit a Batman mask, you know,
while recording this episode.
the whole episode. He's had it on the whole time. And you didn't pick the Batman trailer as the biggest reveal of Fandome. The last thing on Fandome, which they saved it like for the end, like the best for last. Like what, Rod?
As a matter of
I don't know.
fact, as a matter of fact, when and if you guys see the screenshot of Rod recording this trailer in the DC multiverse, this is the shittiest version of Batman in the entirety of the multiverse.
Damn. I like that at the opening of this of the whole Fandom thing, you know, like I mentioned before, they're talking about the whole multiverse, how we, you know, we have all these different versions of ourselves across the multiverse of time and space. If you smoke weed, you know what I'm talking about. And I'm blessed that I'm at least one of the iterations of Batman, even if it's the shitty Washington Heights broke version. Bat Manuel.
In this universe,
even Bat Manuel, I think is over me.
In this universe, all the trauma and conviction culminated in him doing a podcast.
Well, crappy
crying.
Batman is better than no Batman.
Yeah.
Word is the podcaster this universe deserves.
There's a quote out there like, be yourself, but if you can't, be Batman.
Well, anyway, I'm surprised you didn't pick the Batman trailer. So for me, my top picks, obviously, the Batman trailer, all of that panel. I love hearing Matt Reeves talk about the Batman movie, his inspiration. Oh, actually, what we forgot to mention that, which I shared with the group, that he mentioned that the Batman book written and drawn by Darwin Cook of like the New Frontier fame in DC. He wrote Batman. It's called Batman Ego. Apparently that was a big influence for the movie, which I'm gonna fucking buy that immediately and read the shit out of that.
Available on Comixology.
Yes, it's that got me excited. So I think for me the biggest reveal, because also for me, because I love Batman, and it's like I'm always worried that they're gonna fuck it up, you know, they're just not gonna do well.
Stop worrying. What was the last bad Batman product we got? And please,
you really want to get into that?
Oh well, okay.
Justice League,
yeah,
Batfleck, really?
All right. The Whedon version.
Like when Superman grabs him and drops him, he's like, "Oh, my back!"
Good
Or whatever.
job.
Like that's the worst, man. No, exactly. And so that's why I was so happy. And then I feel like all this tension and stress I had on top of me just lifted away, and I'm not worried about it anymore. I think for me that was my biggest one. The second biggest thing that I loved. It's a tough choice, like Rod said. There's a lot of good things, but I actually have to go with Black Adam. The Black Adam one, I loved it. I love The Rock. He just looks like the coolest fucking dude, man. He just had such a great presence. The way he talked about the movie, I really think he's threatening everybody in the DC universe, and that they told us who are the JSA, Justice Society of America characters to be in the movie. Like I can't. Like it's and how I loved it, just seeing how attached he is to the character and like how well he knows it. Like that's it. I love it.
For me, I would have to say top reveal without a doubt, Black Adam. Black Adam without a doubt. That was amazing. And second, and is just for the sake of consistency, the Snyder Cut. Yeah, that trailer, dude. The main reason, straight up, is just because we got to see Darkseid. Oh my God, we've been waiting for that for so long. Like that was like a brain gas. I'm like, oh my God, it's Darkseid. Oh my God, like I didn't even know what to think of that. But like that was just insane. That was just insane. But the reason why I put Black Adam as my first is because he's one of my favorite heroes, if you want to call them that. Like The Rock said, hero, villain, anti-hero, whatever. He's just an amazing character, and he's finally getting his due. To be honest, like we need more anti-heroes in DC because Batman is a bit of an anti-hero in a way, but it's kind of like he is a hero, even though his means, depending on who's writing him, can sometimes be a bit too extreme. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, definitely would have to be their Black Adam, and then in number 2, then it would be the Snyder Cut. Yeah, for me.
Before we started recording, you said that Darkseid looked better than his Marvel counterpart, Thanos. Care to elaborate on that?
I think that's pretty self-explanatory. So I'm just gonna go ahead and quote myself. Ches circa 10-15, 2020. Darkseid looks better than Thanos.
I disagree. Like, it was a fucking second clip. He looked dope, but I don't think he looked as dope as basically the lead of 2 Avengers movies, you know, and the guiding evil force throughout all the movies. No, my God, Josh Brolin looked dope as Thanos. Oh my God, that final battle that he had, the battle that Thanos had with Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man looked way better, I'm sure, than whatever we're gonna see of Darkseid.
Oh, hell no!
Oh, come on!
Yeah, fuck all that.
We shall see.
The difference between what you're saying and what I'm saying is that you're stating an incorrect opinion. I'm stating a genuine fact.
Sounds about right.
Thank you.
I disagree, and I would love to hear our Legionnaire fans out there, the Legion on Zoom fans, to see what do you guys agree, and also we'd love to hear whatever you guys think about anything about the DC fandom. Did you guys see it? Do you guys regret anything that you know didn't like something? Would prefer to see something else? We would love to hear because this was a big event.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was definitely, it was bigger than I expected. I didn't expect this. You know what I mean? Like, it was insane. And I honestly hope it becomes an annual thing. And it was great. It was a great experience. I hope we get this every year now, going forward, even if it's not part of Comic-Con.
Actually, that's the other thing I remember, though, because that's the other big thing that we talked about, that one of the other things that we learned from the DC fandom is that it made us realize how much San Diego Comic-Con this year, the Comic-Con at home, was trash.
It was garbage.
Oh my God, it didn't even come close to giving us the excitement we got from like one panel today.
Which means it made us even question, we might pick this conversation up on a different episode, but could this be the beginning of the end for Comic-Con? Did Comic-Con suck so much because DC played all its cards so close to the chest for its own convention? And if so, do we have like the Marvel counterpart coming up, which is essentially going to make all of Comic-Con kind of like an indie convention?
Which might make it cool too, because Jim Lee touched upon that, the origins of Comic-Con a little bit in one of the panels. You know, maybe things will go well. You know, New York Comic-Con is really going to tell us a lot. Let's see what happens with that, if people can actually congregate. Unless it's already been canceled. Again, I'm not 100% sure.
No, it already got canceled. It already got canceled. They emailed already.
Yes. So, and there goes that.
Yeah.
So it looked. Well, to be perfectly honest, on that note, then I cannot wait for DC Fandome 2021.
Oh, man.
It's going to be insane. And, well, everybody, thanks for joining us for another special edition of the Legion on Zoom, this time for the DC Fandome 2020. And like I said, we're going to see you on DC Fandome 2021. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Chaz.
Yo, and I'm Miguel.
And I'm Bat Rod.
Peace.
Legion on Zoom, starring and produced by Jose Perez, aka Ches, Rodney Martinez, and myself, Miguel Arce. Please subscribe on wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or shoot us an email at legiononzoom@gmail.com. And don't forget to follow us on social media at Legion on Zoom.